Aloha and welcome to the Murph's Place 808 for the Love of Golf podcast. I am your host, Murph. What is going on, people? I hope you guys have had a good couple of weeks. I say a couple of weeks because I missed the show last week, and the reason being was we lost power at the house. Apparently, for about a 4-block, 6-block, 8-block area, I guess, the power was out. Something happened with the transformer or something having to do with the power. So no show last week, and still dealing with this rib injury stuff. It is actually getting better though. It doesn't hurt too bad to cough now, but sneezing, it feels like somebody's taking a knife and stabbing me in the chest. It really sucks. So we have not had a VGA tournament. The next one is going to be, I believe they said the second week of January. FIA. That has been going on. So the other day I was at work, and I went in the cart barn, and the belt's in there, the FIA belt. And I wonder what had been going on, because I know Joe P has retained the belt, but the belt was in there. So I happened to see him the other day, and I asked him, I'm like, hey, why is the belt in the cart barn? You don't have it anymore? And he said, no, he has it, but he just leaves it there because he doesn't want to keep carrying it around. And so somebody still needs to beat him. I obviously haven't been able to play, and I'm probably not going to play for a couple more weeks. I want to let this thing completely heal up. I tried to play the last VGA tournament and end up having to withdraw, which was last weekend, by the way. Had to withdraw after the third hole because I couldn't swing the club. It was too painful. So anyhow, Joe P still has the belt. However, the belt is in the cart barn waiting for somebody to snatch it away from him, which may not happen for a while. It's kind of lost its luster for him as far as winning it. I guess he needs more competition. So if anybody out there is wanting to come and play Sundays, I usually play about 12:30, 1 o'clock. You try to get that belt from Joe P. The Beach Boys last week, they played Pearl Country Club. Obviously, I didn't play. I'm, like I said, taking time off for this thing to heal up. And Shep ended up winning the belt from Dan. And they also, I know Troy told me that Shep ended up winning the belt, but I don't think Dan had the belt, so I don't know what was up with that or how and if Shep got the belt from Dan. But they played today. The Beach Boys played Coral Creek, and Troy stopped by and said he didn't say anything about the belt, which leads me to believe that he did not end up winning the belt today, because he's usually got something to say. He usually sends out a smart-ass tweet to me or a smart-ass message to me and Dan and Shep. So we didn't get any of those messages, and he never said anything when he stopped by the house here today. So I assume he did not win the belt, and we only have a couple more weeks of Beach Boy play until the end of the year. And each year what we do is we award the most improved player. So the most improved player for this season is Sam Mokuahi. Sam improved 1.20 on his handicap. And how that is figured up is, what you do is you take the beginning GHIN handicap index at the beginning of the year, and then you add 12 to that, and then you take his ending GHIN handicap index for the end of the year, which was, we're doing it for this week, since next week we have one more weekend in Christmas, and then we have one more week of golf before the new year. And you add 12 to that number. Then you divide that number from the first number, and you end up with that 1.20. So Sam ended up winning it this year. I think the next closest was, I believe, Dan at 1.18 or 1.17, something like that. Anyhow, congrats to Sam. Good job. And like I've said in the past, this is the time if you're thinking about playing on Mondays with the Beach Boys and you want to come out and play regularly on Mondays. You don't have to play every Monday. You can pick and choose what Mondays you play, but you also earn points for every Monday that you're there. And at the end of the year, the top point winners, I think he pays out 10 places or something like that. You end up getting money. So if you want to play, just go to our website, beachboysgolfclub.org. You can contact us through there, or you can shoot me an email at merceplace808@gmail.com, and we'll get you signed up for next year. It's $60 for the year, and then each week you only have to pay $25 to get into the club games. There's some additional games you can get into if you'd like, and they cost a little extra, but total, if you get into all the games and everything, it's $95. And that does not include your green fees. You have to pay your green fees. But the $60 throughout the year, that covers your gin handicap, the cost of that for the year. And then we normally do a Christmas party, although we've kind of shied away from that the last couple of years. This is no different. We're not going to have a Christmas party, but the rounds of golf at one of the club days are going to be paid for everybody. So anyhow, like I said, if you want to come out and join us, we'd love to have you come out and join. The same with the VGA Tour. The new season has already started, but you can still join the VGA Tour, and then you can, same thing, you pick and choose what tournaments you want to play in. And it all depends. If you want to try to make it to nationals or regionals or whatever like that, you have to have so many tournaments and so many points. So you can go to the VGA website to sign up for that. Let's take a short break and we'll get into some PGA news here. All right, welcome back, everybody. PGA news. There's obviously been a couple of tournaments that's been played since the last podcast, and last week they had the QBE Shootout, which was played down in Naples, Florida. The winners for that event were, remember, that was the two-man event where it was kind of like a mini Ryder Cup with a couple different formats that the players played, but it ended up Kevin Na and Jason Kokrak were your winners, and those guys caught fire, and they ended up birdieing 11 or 12 of the last 13 holes to win, and they were down 3 shots going into the day. They ended up with a one-shot victory over Billy Horschel and Sam Burns. I can't remember. I know in the power rankings we talked about it last time. I can't remember if Kevin Na and Jason Kokrak were listed in the top 3. I don't think they were, but I think Billy Horschel and Sam Burns were. I think those two were, listed in the top 3. But congrats to Kevin Na and Jason Kokrak. If you guys don't know, Kevin Na, it's fun to watch him golf because when he's on and he's starting to drop birdies, and I think that's what happened in this tournament. I didn't watch it, but I think that hearing some of the highlights of it, I think at first Kevin Na made a bunch of birdies, and then Jason Kokrak followed it up with some more birdies on the back. But yeah, so congrats to those two guys. But Kevin Na is, if you ever watch him, when he putts, if he knows it's in, he'll walk it in, like walk real fast to it as it drops in, and almost like pulls the ball out as soon as it hits the bottom of the cup. So it's pretty funny to watch him. Anyhow, congrats to those guys on their win. This past weekend, you had the PNC Championship. That's where the pros team up with usually their kids or their family members. And John Daly and his son, John Daly II, won the tournament. And Tiger and Charlie Woods finished second. They played in it. And, Tiger, there's been a lot of talk about Tiger and his accident and whether or not he was going to come back and play golf again. Granted, this wasn't a PGA event where it was 4 rounds. And I'm pretty sure that I read that he took a cart. He couldn't walk 18 holes, but he took a cart. Just to see him out there swinging though and playing was really, that's awesome that he's able to do that after that accident that he had. And Charlie, holy cow, I think last year when they played in it, he was 11. He's 12 this year. I mean, this kid, granted, he was hitting up, I don't know, on some holes 150 yards ahead of where they were teeing off of. But I know on one of the par threes, they all teed off from the same yardage. Everybody did. And he hit one about 4 feet left of the pin. No pros got any closer to the hole than he did. And he putted it in for birdie. And watching the highlights from it, man, he was draining some putts. That kid can really putt. And he can hit the ball. So who knows? Maybe it's the second Tiger coming through his son. But anyhow, congrats to those guys. Tiger and Charlie ended up finishing second. The next tournament coming up is going to be the Century Tournament of Champions at the Plantation Course on Maui at Kapalua. That is going to be January 5th through the 9th. So obviously we're going to have a couple weeks here with Christmas being off, and they'll be right back at it. After the Century Tournament on Maui, they come over here to Oahu and they play at Waialae for the Sony Open, January 10th through the 16th. That's always a fun tournament, and skiing. My buddy Ski and I used to caddy in the Pro-Ams every year. We caddy in the Monday Pro-Am and the Wednesday Pro-Am. They have two separate Pro-Ams, and I think the way it's said, I think the Monday Pro-Am is like the Wednesday Pro-Am is the official Pro-Am. I don't know what that means. I mean, I know the price is different. I think the Monday Pro-Am, you can play in that for $3,500 per person. And then the Wednesday Pro-Am, I think, is like $5,500 or $6,000, something like that. But it's crazy how much those guys pay to play in that thing. But anyhow, and I'm kind of jealous because I was at work the other night, and my buddy Chris, Evil Donkey is his name. Well, everybody calls him Evil. He's going to play in it. He gets to play in it because his boss, the company he works for, is paying for it. So he's actually got his pass and everything. He's excited about playing. It's pretty cool. But I'm a little jealous. I wish I was playing in it. What's funny is Ski and I, when we were, caddying in it, he would always say, hey, one day we're going to play in this thing. One day we're going to play in this thing. Well, that's been, 20 years ago, and neither one of us has played in it. But at least one of our friends is going to play in it. So good luck to Evil when he plays. I think he's playing the Monday Pro-Am on the 12th. So good luck to him, and I hope he has fun. And he will. If you haven't played Waialae, it's always in great shape. The greens are super fast. It's just a good time. It's wide open for the most part, and it's a good and fun course to play. A little short, but it's still a great course to play. So good luck to him, and he'll have fun, and we'll see what happens. Let's take another short break, and we'll be right back. If you haven't heard the new C Money Baby album yet, you're missing the best thing to come out of Ohio since Jim Tressel. Smart Boy, Dumb Decisions is a look into the life of C Money Baby, lately filled with loss, pain, struggle, and danger. The Gem City rapper gives you high-energy bangers and deep, introspective slow jams. To check out the album, just search up C Money Baby. Don't forget the baby on your favorite streaming platform, or visit www.smartboystudios.com. Also, don't forget, Corey Gossett is dropping a song every single week this year. Stay up to date by following him on Spotify or Apple Music by searching Corey Gossett, or look him up on Instagram or Twitter under @KidWhoCameBack. Head to www.smartboystudios.com to stay up to date on new music, new videos, and any upcoming events. If you'd like to support Smart Boy Studios and their artists, head to threads.smartboystudios.com and check out the merch. They have hats, hoodies, shirts, and more. All right, welcome back, everybody. So we were talking about this the other day. There was somebody that had a question about the proper procedure when you hit a ball and that ball is thought to be out of bounds or lost. And I know in the VGA, you can make committees can make local rules to speed up the pace of play or things like that. Like, for example, when the rules changes came out with the USGA about the out of bounds, having an option where you can either re-tee and hit your ball again, hitting 3, or you can go up to where your ball went out of bounds at, and within 2 club lengths from where it entered the OB, you can drop, but you'll be hitting 4 from that location. You'll take 2 penalty strokes instead of the 1 if you went back to the tee box. The reason they did that is to speed up pace of play. Now, with the VGA, one of their rules is that you, if your ball goes, if you hit a ball and it goes towards the out of bounds and you know it goes out of bounds, you can go up and take a drop 2 club lengths, no closer to the hole, from where it entered the OB, and only take 1 stroke in play. Technically, I mean, the rules committee can make that rule because it speeds up pace of play, but technically that's not how you play that. You would take 2 strokes from either that location or you go back to the tee box and hit a 3rd one. We also were talking about, somebody said something about a lost ball, or like you're playing with a group of foursome and somebody hits a ball and you guys see where it goes and you get up there and you can't find it. Technically the rule is that's a lost ball, and you would have to go back to the original spot that you played the ball and play another one. So the guy that brought this up asked me, the way they play it is they take 1 stroke. They drop a ball as near as possible as to where they think the ball landed, and they drop it and take 1 stroke. And he said, is that cool to do? Well, it's your group. You guys can decide how you want to do it. But technically, by the rules, that's not the rule. The rule is you have to go back and hit another one. So, I mean, and it all depends on what you want to get out of the game. Obviously, if you're entering scores into the gin for a handicap, then you should be playing by the rules totally. Whether or not it says you can do that, take a drop and take 1 stroke, you should be taking 2. In the cases of where I've played in the VGA events and I've hit 1, on my scorecard for the event, I only took 1 stroke because that is the way we play it. But when I enter that score into my gin for my handicap, I always take the additional stroke because that is technically what you have to do. I mean, if you can't just play the game with made up rules and then enter your information and to get a handicap. And that's another thing. We were talking about handicaps. Listen, it does you no good to only enter all your good scores into the app to get your handicap to be low, because that's not a true test of how you play the game. So, for example, if I only enter my good scores and it made my handicap be a 6, but then I go play golf and I shoot 106 consistently, that's not your handicap. Now, I'm not saying that a low handicap can't shoot a high number. I'm proven testimony of that. I was a 3.4 handicap, and I played in the U.S. Senior Open Championship qualifier one year at Waialae, which I normally play good at Waialae when I play there. I don't play there often, but the times that I've shot in the 70s. But I played the U.S. Senior Open Championship qualifier, and on the very first hole, I hit 2 balls OB. And automatically, my attitude was, I'm done. Because the only way you can win that qualifier is to shoot even par. And sometimes all that does is get you into a playoff with somebody. So being that I shot 2 balls OB on my tee shot and finishing the hole getting a 7 or an 8, right there, I'm 3 or 4 strokes over par and now I'm gonna have to press to try to make birdies to get back to even. So I was a 3.4. I ended up shooting 99 that round. And the guy that I played with, my good buddy Bill, he was like, Murph, what is going on with you? I go, oh, man, I have no idea. But I did. I mean, obviously, like I said, I let that affect me when I hit those 2 balls out of bounds, thinking that I was out of the tournament. There was no way I could win. And you can't have that attitude. You can't have that mental thought process, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen during the round. It's very possible I could have made 3 birdies, got back to even, and maybe made a couple more and got under par. But when you have that negative attitude, a lot of negative things can happen when you're playing golf. Some of the best golf I've ever played has been when I've never thought about anything. I just went and played golf. I know I told the story before, but Joe P, I played in the Army Invitational, and Joe P was in my group, and he joked around, and I was cracking up the whole day. I ended up shooting 67 and winning the tournament. I was down by 5 strokes going in the last day, ended up shooting 67 and winning by 5. That just goes to show, because I didn't even think about golf. Joe was cracking jokes, and we were laughing, having fun, and it was some of the best golf that I played. So if you shoot high scores, you have to enter those into your GHIN also. It may make your handicap go up, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. If you try to tell somebody you're a 2 or a 4 or 6 handicap and you're shooting in the hundreds every time you go out, they're going to know you're not. And vice versa. Don't enter all your high scores and not the good scores that you shoot, trying to get your handicap up so that you get more strokes from somebody when you're betting or when you're entering into a tournament or something. That's not a true indication of your play either. You got to enter every score in. Enter all your scores in, enter them accurately, and have a true handicap of how you play this game. And if you want to get better, if you want to have a lower handicap, then work harder, play more, practice more. Because, like I said, the game should be fair for everybody. And that's what the handicap does. It makes it fair so that people that are not as good, they have a chance against somebody that's good because they have to get strokes. So anyhow, we were talking about that, and you just got to enter all your scores, and you got to play by the rules. They're there for a reason. If you guys have any questions, hey, let me say this though. Thank you guys for your support. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for asking me questions, whether it's through email or when you see me. But I really appreciate it, and thank you guys for the support. If you'd like to support the podcast, there's a link in there where you can go and support it. There's also email murphsplace808@gmail.com in case you want to send me a question or a topic to discuss. Please do that, and I appreciate everybody's time. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. I'm pretty sure I'll have a podcast out for Christmas, but just in case I don't, you never know what's going to happen around here. Maybe I'll lose power again for a couple of days or end up having to work a lot more, but we'll see. But I hope everybody has a good Christmas. And if you're playing golf, hit them straight, hit them long, but don't hit them often. Aloha, everybody.